It's Monday, kind of. It's morning, kind of.
And it's definitely macabre. Welcome, gang. Two for two this week to make up for the previous week.
Yeah, we owe you this one. This one's for you.
This one's for real ones.
This one's
yeah.
only for real ones.
Hey, if you're not a real one,
What are you
shut this pot
doing?
off. Why are you listening?
It's so
Go
easy
be
to
a
be
fake one somewhere else.
It's so easy to be a real one nowadays too. You just put on social media that
it's
you're
in your
a real
phone.
one.
You have a computer in your pocket, dude.
Yeah,
Just be a real one.
You're a real one.
Hey, you're a real one.
Hey,
I don't
let's get serious.
say this. I don't think we say this enough.
You're a real one.
Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, Scony.
Yo.
Give me some super cool news about your house.
Oh, man. So a guy came over. So we're putting in new kitchen floors, right? This is what everyone wants to hear about when they tune in. Guy comes over. He has all these lasers. He's measuring shit with his lasers, like he's Catherine Zeta-Jones or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, this floor's all weird. And we're like, we know. We told you about that. And we want to know how much it costs to fix it. And he's like, I don't know. It's going to be expensive. And we're like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
It's weird.
And he's like, I can't tell you how much it will cost. And I'm like, what?
We play this game here where we don't tell you, we do it, and then give you a check.
Yeah, it's called the IRS game, where they just fucking
Not a check,
don't
a
tell you
bill.
how much you owe. And they're like, I don't know.
Don't worry, you'll figure it out.
So, yeah,
like-
that's super stressful because I can't budget for something that is quote unquote expensive, but I have no idea how much it's going to be. So that's
I love that.
stress.
I
But
love that for you.
other than that, I've also just like, I feel like, Darcy, do you ever watch the Ernest movies?
Like Ernest goes dumb.
Yeah. Ernest goes
Whatever.
ape shit. No.
Yeah, Ernest goes hard on the track.
Yes, those.
I
feel like I gotta watch
I've
all
never
of
actually
them.
watched them, but I know of them.
I feel like that's a movie series that people like slightly younger than us have no idea what that is.
Oh, for sure.
Like Ernest.
I think most people we know probably don't know what that is.
Well, I've seen Ernest Scared Stupid. No, you think people don't know Ernest?
I think you could ask a lot of people we know, and they would have no idea what you're talking about.
They suck though. Those people. I know who you're
well,
talking.
I mean, yeah, and they suck, and they're listening, and they're thinking, "Do I
that
suck?"
me?
And yeah,
If you're wondering,
do.
it is you. If you have to ask,
yeah.
if you have to ask,
you're-
I don't know what Ernest is. Yes, it's you.
Yeah, then you're the problem.
But I do watch Ernest Scared Stupid at least once a year around this time because it's wonderful and weird. And I just found out that it started when like that character he made was just a commercial for this like I don't remember if it was a state park or a trailer park, but he was just like they were just like go nuts, just like make up a character and advertise this park. And he was like, okay. And he just did that. And then they were like, let's make 8 movies.
Hey, do you want to sign this contract?
Hollywood was sick
That's
back in the day. You just
yeah.
like did nonsense.
Amen.
But I guess he's like modern YouTubers that are now considered actors and are getting put in movies.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that new Logan Paul movie.
It's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be so tight.
So tight.
Can't believe they cast him as both Batman and Martin Luther King in the same film. I think it's gonna be maybe the tightest.
I think it just makes sense if you look at the canon.
Yeah, I think from a lore perspective, it adds up. So I'm excited.
You know what? I'm also excited.
My son has foot and mouth disease.
He keeps putting his foot in his mouth.
Foot, hand,
Is
mouth.
he still? At
Pick
what
one.
age do kids grow out of the ability to do that? Because that's like something babies do all the time, and then it like, I don't think I could. Hold on, I'm trying right now.
Yeah, I think. Well, you can. It's just
I don't think I
much
can right
rarer
now.
in adults. I just have too much on my plate.
Oh God, it's.
But we got a message on Monday from daycare being like, "Hey, some jabroni has what is going on?"
I really hurt my leg trying to put my foot in my mouth.
See,
Can't do it.
Everyone. Just a reminder to everyone: Scones is a different age bracket than I am. So, just a reminder. But my son, the daycare was like, "Hey, some jabron got has hand, foot, and mouth disease. We'll let you know if we see any symptoms in any of the kids. And then like 2 hours later, we got a call from them being like, hey, your son has running a fever and he needs to go home. And we're like, fuck.
So your
So
feet and your mouth give you a fever? What is this disease?
it's it's like almost like a chicken pox where it like he's just covered in like red, like blistery things.
Oh my God.
It's not good.
No, that
it's
also
definitely
is
not
that
good.
also like AIDS? Like you get covered in red blistery things?
That I have less experience with.
Are you sure?
But
Have
I can
you
tell
seen-
you that
Sorry, go ahead.
I've seen what?
I was gonna say Dallas Buyers Club, but
I have seen Dallas Buyers Club, and he has not looked so much like that.
good. Good. No, but you don't want your son looking like that.
He's very uncomfortable, and he wakes up a lot in the nighttime now and this is like last 6 to 10 days. Although now he
might be a werewolf.
Like 3 or 4. Oh, I didn't think about this.
Werewolves are very uncomfortable.
Little lichen action. Lichen, I hardly know him, dude.
Werewolves are very uncomfortable and wake up in the nighttime a lot.
Yeah, well, specifically like certain nights, but
yes.
But he's like day 4. He's doing pretty good now.
Nice.
So that's good. So that's been my super fun week, and I've gotten no sleep. And you know, in like the club music when they're like, "We don't fucking go to bed, baby," and like then it's like a bass plays.
Yeah, Pitbull.
Yes. Go to bed, baby. It's way better.
I don't know, Lars. They sound pretty excited.
Nah, baby, go to bed. If you get one thing out of this podcast, it's that, baby, go to bed.
Baby. Come on, baby.
All right, Scones, I've got something to talk about.
Heck yeah.
Do you know the story of Foxcatcher?
Oh, God. I think so.
You think so?
It's deeply macabre.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
That's the point of the show.
Hey.
I got bad news for you. Yeah, so I was flipping around on YouTube, and YouTube's been just recommending me like dramatic scenes from films for some reason. Yes. I don't know why. Like it's like Robin Williams in like
Good Will Hunting.
What the park bench scene in Good Will Hunting, and you're like, okay, and then it'll just be other and this. The climax of this story was one of these scene recommendations, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast, so let's chit chat about it."
Steve Carell movie with
yes, Stephen Carell and the Hulk.
Which one?
The newest one. What's his face?
Oh, Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Not David Banner.
Not Lou Ferrigno.
Not Lou Ferrigno.
That would be very funny.
Wait, is it? Hold on. I just said David Banner as in the rapper, and I meant
Bruce Banner
being Bruce Banner, not David Banner.
I knew what you meant.
David Banner is a rapper. Anyway, so we're going to talk about John du Pont, Dave Schultz, and the true story of Foxcatcher, Catcher. Band, ring,
hey, band daddy.
It's time. Play. Okay.
Yes, where's the source from, Dars?
I'll give you 3 letters to guess.
Okay. Wait, what? Are you gonna give me 3 letters? I don't understand the game.
No. You guess the name of this publication with 3 letters.
CNN.
No.
I don't understand. ATI?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. Back at it again.
With the white birds.
Mark Oliver, John Karofsky, hitting us with another.
Also, wait,
puppy.
did the last podcast on the left? Did they get in trouble for something?
What? The one of the guys is in trouble.
Oh, but they're still going. We can't swoop in on that.
I don't know. I think so.
I wanted to swoop in on that Spotify exclusive money, but I guess we can't. Fuck.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the production value of this show if we had that kind of money?
Oh man. I mean, we'd probably get it out on time.
We'd cure foot and mouth disease, dude.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think I already figured out the cure anyway, though. I think I don't get that disease right now because I can't put my foot in my mouth. So I think you just got to do that.
True. Yeah. Yep. That's actually that's how it works. You get so old you can't do it anymore.
Just like
I
skateboarding.
remember Scones at 22. He was obsessed with putting his foot in his mouth.
Both at the same time.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, what is?"
I was a killer out at the bars in our college town.
Just rolling around. So anyway, on January 26th, 1996, Dave Schultz, one of America's most accomplished Olympic wrestlers, well, do I want to give away the ending like at the start, or should we just talk about it?
Don't give it away. Don't give
All
it away.
right.
Give it away now.
Okay. Here's the true story. So Foxcatcher.
Yes.
And John E. du Pont. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the DuPonts, listener, but they got a little bit of the cashola.
A little bit.
A little bit of the old American royalty, baby. So born November 22nd, 1938 in Philadelphia, PA, John E. DuPont was American royalty as a member of the family behind the DuPont Chemical Company. His family raised thoroughbred horses on their 800-acre farm in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania.
These are like the worst kind of... These are always the people that commit the worst things and have documentaries on Netflix.
Ones who are
it's just, like, what's the one, the trial happening right now?
The Jinx. Oh, never mind.
With the Ginger family.
I don't know.
The Murdaws. The Murdochs. Murdaws? In the speedboat accident. You haven't heard of that?
I've heard of Kevin O'Leary in a speedboat accident.
Wait, the shark?
Yeah, he and his wife ended someone's life.
Oh, no.
I think it was not necessarily their faults, but I think that's also, I don't know enough to like really comment on.
Wait, hold on. Didn't something similar to that happen to Christopher Walken?
I don't know.
Didn't he maybe secretly kill somebody back in the day?
You're right. I think you're right. But any hoozle. So Johnny DuPont, he wandered the grounds, obsessing over birds and wildlife, a small refuge from an isolated childhood. Inside his mansion, DuPont was an incredibly lonely child. His father was rarely at home, and his siblings, who were far older than him, barely acknowledged that he was alive. The only friend he thought he had was the son of his chauffeur. Although in time, DuPont would find out that his mother had paid the boy to pretend to like him.
Oh, no. He sounds like Tom Riddle.
Whoa. Yeah, that's, okay. Scones, what if I told you your mom pays me every week?
Oh, no. This is how she chimes in. She's on the call.
Yeah, she's like, what are you doing? My earpiece is, I'm getting text out the wazoo right now. Yeah, I'm getting shot at currently. So your mom pays me 25 cents a week.
Wow. When did she start? Because that...
Well, it was 1928.
Oh, okay,
I am an immortal friend being...
You inherited the contract.
Quite the racket. Yeah. Let's just say your grandfather was a swell dude.
He sure was.
So, it didn't help that innately DuPont was eccentric to say the least. He later earned a doctorate in natural sciences and founded the Delaware Museum of Natural History.
Oh, that's
but still desperate. Yeah.
Why is he becoming a cool guy?
Yeah, he starts cool.
No, he starts lame when he's a kid, but then he becomes cool.
Yeah. He's still desperate for a sense of value in his life, so he turns to wrestling, as we all do.
I hate when the Museum of Natural History I founded isn't giving me value, so I gotta go wrestle, and not
I gotta go.
Like cool wrestling, like WWE, like lame wrestling.
Sport, like Olympic. So he tried other sports too, like swimming and pentathlon.
Dude, this is a nerd. Those aren't sports, dude. Come on.
Dude, he earned a spot on the 1976 Olympic team.
Cool, dude. But I also swam in high school, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's cooler than football. Like, come on.
This is a big thing. He lost both testicles after an injury in a horse riding accident.
You're just throwing so many facts at me about this guy. Okay, so hold on. Let's refresh for the listeners' sake, because I'm already getting my head spun around. So grew up like Tom Riddle. Nobody liked him when he hung out with snakes. His driver's son was paid to hang out with him by his mom.
And he lost his his booze.
So yeah, he's got no nuts, and he was fully castrated by a horse.
Yep.
He started in Museum of Natural History, and then somehow
then he's like, let's become Olympic.
Wants to be a wrestler. Even
yeah.
Do you think? When did he lose his nuts? Because I feel like
he was a kid.
Wow, so he became an Olympic level athlete with no nuts. I'm just saying
I have bad news for you, Scott. There's an entire section of the Olympics
I'm
for
just
individuals
saying, like,
with
from
no
a
nuts.
physiology standpoint, getting into a strength sport like wrestling without the main organ
I think
that
he went to the
regulates
Olympics for the pentathlon, not necessarily the wrestling.
Oh, okay, because I was going to say, like, that's the main organ that regulates, like, testosterone.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
I understand what you're saying in that context, yes.
I'm not here to say, like, you have to have nuts. I'm just saying, like, physiologically, that's crazy.
You gone crazy. So he lost both, and contact sports like wrestling were forbidden to him growing up, which is weird because I feel like he'd be like, what's the worst that can happen here? You know?
Yeah, what is the worst? Let's get into it.
The injury may also have compounded his crippling insecurity and need to compensate. Regardless, or perhaps in part because of this, DuPont wanted to be involved as involved in the sport as possible.
Do you think you'd be more insecure? Do you think there's a way you could?
Of course.
What if you were like, I'm free?
Wait, why would you think you wouldn't be?
Because what if you're like, I'm lacking this weakness. No one can kick me in the nuts.
Okay, so that's the angle you think he's thinking?
No, not him.
Like,
but I'm saying, could you spin this in a way that you're like, my one weakness is gone?
I think you'd feel like an absolute outsider.
Oh, for sure. But I'm saying, how could you spin it?
Okay, so you're saying if you were a PR team, how can you make him the cool guy?
Yeah, if it's like the movie, what's the movie where it's all the emotions in the guy's head? It's a Pixar movie. Inside Out.
Emoji movie?
So it's Inside Out, and I'm one of the people in his brain, and I'm like, how do we spin this so he's not sad all the time?
Yeah.
That's how I'd do it. Ernest Scared Stupid. Everyone check it out.
Check it out. Give it a watch. So John du Pont later had learned to become desperate for approval and belonging. He was determined to build a team of Olympic champions.
Dude,
and the wrestling community. Yeah.
We're using Discord right now, listener. A little inside baseball to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that you could do these AKA nicknames. So I thought there was a third person listening in on our call called Luke from Halloween Town. But it's just Darcy.
My server
AKA
profile is Luke.
Luke from Halloween
You're AKA
Town.
Daddy Thick Train. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I didn't make that.
You do know about this.
I can't see mine.
It says it. I'm making it the cover image for this episode.
Excellent.
So, 1985, he opens a 14,000-foot training center on his family's estate that he renamed Foxcatcher Farms. He poured himself into the sport, as well as over $3 million into USA Wrestling, the sport's national governing body.
It's such a weird move.
I mean,
it'd be...
Yeah,
I'm also biased. If he was like, it's for basketball, I'd be like, this place is sick.
He'd be like that. If he was like, yo, this is for slam ball only, I'd be like,
imagine if Osama bin Laden went here instead of his zone.
He was hooping?
He should have been hooping, dude.
So Dave Schultz was DuPont's second choice for the face of Team Foxcatcher. At first, he'd hired Dave's brother Mark, another Olympic gold medalist in his own right, to train his Foxcatcher team.
Wow, so this family had 2 gold medalists?
Yeah, they're both Olympic wrestlers.
Gee whiz.
So it didn't take Mark long, though, before he became frustrated with the way DuPont treated him like a toy he'd bought with a $70,000 salary. We were his newest trophies, Mark Schultz recalled of DuPont.
Wait, what year was this?
1970.
Wow, so 70 grand?
Or 80s?
Either way, that's a lot of schmola back then, dude.
That's a lot of greens.
It's a big bag of clams.
Mark claims that he deliberately threw his Olympic trial match just to keep DuPont from getting the satisfaction of the win.
Wow.
By 1990, DuPont had replaced Mark with his brother Dave Schultz. Mark and Dave Schultz were the only 2 brothers in sports history to win freestyle wrestling medals in the Olympic Games in 1984 and the World Championship, where Dave won in 1983 and Mark won in 1985. The boys were even honored by then-President Ronald Reagan. So that's pretty rad. Dave was ultimately a 7-time world and Olympic medalist and a nice guy to boot.
Wait, have we talked on this program, this particular particular program about how the guy who shot Reagan is now out of prison and making music, then you can listen to his albums?
No.
Oh, well, if you guys want to check it out, the guy who shot Ronald Reagan is somehow out of prison.
Are you his agent? What are you talking about?
He's out of, first of all, because that's a crazy story. He's out of prison somehow. So you could just shoot the president, do like time, and be like, just walk away. And he
be like, yo, this EP was cooking.
He makes like stripped down acoustic, like beautiful music, and he has an album out. And it's like, none of the music has to do with him shooting Ronald Reagan. And I'm like, this guy has lived 2 crazy lives.
None of the music has. If every track was like, by the way, shot Ronald Reagan.
If only it was a little to the left, or like something crazy. Like,
yeah. Jesus Christ. So let's see.
They met Ronald Reagan, and then they were doing something.
So yeah, they met Ronald Reagan. They're killing it in the Olympic world. And a little bit about Dave Schultz, who is now the head of Foxcatcher, Team Foxcatcher. As a big kid with dyslexia, Dave wasn't a stranger to teasing. Perhaps that's why he felt compassion for the eccentric Du Pont, for whom he agreed to work despite what his brother told him about their difficulty working together. If it wasn't for Dave being a Foxcatcher, nobody else would have gone. He was a legend, just one of the best wrestlers in the world. So, and apparently over the years in the training facility, Du Pont becomes more and more hard to work with and much less connected to everybody. So Dave Schultz turns out to be a godsend for Foxcatcher Farm. Most importantly, he was the only person who could handle John du Pont. After John du Pont lost his mother in 1988, his sanity started to crumble. Life at Foxcatcher Farm became a living hell. Du Pont would insist that he could see Disney characters hiding on his property or trees uprooting themselves and marching around the estate.
Wait.
So he's like going full Looney Tunes.
Unless it's happening. Unless it's real.
What a solid side to align ourselves with.
Hey, I'm always looking how to spin this, baby.
Scones is a marketer at heart.
Sure am.
So yeah, he's seeing hallucinations and shit. He opened fire on a flock of geese because he became convinced that they were using dark magic against him, and he removed all the treadmills from the building when he became convinced that they were turning back time.
Again, we can't convince they weren't.
Again, this is for a jury to decide.
What if there was a circle of geese around a cauldron, like stirring it with little witch hats?
I'd start shooting.
I'm pulling out
I would call the guy. I would be like, yo, you put down the records, baby. We got some geese to shoot at, Ronald Reagan guy.
And then, what was the other thing he thought was happening? The treadmills were turning time back?
The treadmills were turning back time.
Oh. Well, that one's hard to spin. Is that what the OK Go music video is about? Oh, Here It Goes Again?
Yeah, actually, every OK Go music video is about John du Pont.
Yeah. Here It Goes Again? That's turning back time. It's literally happening again.
I think we're on
Ladies and gentlemen, we figured it out.
So, John du Pont hires security contractors to check his floorboards for secret tunnels and his walls for hidden intruders, as he was sure they were spying on him every moment.
Who's spying on him?
He alleged...
Are these linked? Are the Disney characters
intruders,
spying? Or are the geese?
The trees, geese, and Disney characters are all like, we're going to get you, John.
Oh, geez, that's pretty scary.
So he allegedly was under the influence of cocaine and alcohol for much of these episodes.
That's cocaine and alcohol. Well, you shouldn't combine those, listener. Well, I don't know. Do whatever you want. Do it responsibly. I'm not. You want to
see Looney Tunes and turn back time on a treadmill, dude? But you got to get some cocaine and alcohol.
Well, that's what I'm saying. To my knowledge, those don't do that. If he was on LSD or something, I'd be like, okay. But cocaine and alcohol do not make you see like witch geese.
You just haven't had the good stuff, baby. Top shelf.
This thing's called Geese's Brew.
So the coach's delusion spilled into his wrestlers' lives. He kicked out Kevin Jackson and 2 other wrestlers, declaring that Foxcatcher was now a KKK organization and that no black wrestlers were allowed. Wild pivot into just overt racism.
Yeah, that's the spin zone is done. I am not touching that one. I can't fix that, buddy.
Scones, you don't want to try and make this
No,
very
he's
cool?
official. You had me at geese, but now he's gone off the deep end. Wait,
So
like
he even-
sorcerers, geese sorcerers, I can maybe like see like something cool about that, but the KKK, there's nothing cool about that in any way, shape, or form.
No. So then he goes on to pull a machine gun on wrestler Dan Chade.
Is Dan Chade white?
That I do not know, but here's a quote from Dan. I was working out in the weight room. DuPont comes in and pulled a gun on me and said, "Don't you fuck with me. I want you off the farm." In a very aggressive way, I could tell he wasn't in the right state of mind. I cowered to him just enough to get him to back off, then he left. I told local police the next day. I went to the local courthouse, put in a report there, then the county courthouse. He was definitely getting closer and closer to doing something where somebody was going to get hurt.
Yeah, right. They're rich. Oh, sorry. You meant
Right,
he's doing something to get hurt. I thought you meant the judge, and I was like, the judge ain't doing shit. That family's loaded. That's not how
According to
America
one of Dave's
works,
friends,
buddy.
Yeah. The police were like, "Oh, we knew about this days
Like,
ago."
at least 3 people have to die before rich people get in trouble.
Right. Which kind of, I guess, makes all those boat accident things we're talking about make a lot more sense.
Exactly.
According to one of Dave's friends, Mike Gostigian, Dave was the only person who could really handle John du Pont. Dave was the person closest to John. He was a calming influence, a confidant. But Dave wasn't a yes man. If John said he saw things coming out of the walls, Dave said nothing was coming out of the walls.
Who do you believe? Really? He said.
Yeah, real Marvel DC going on. I think John might have harbored some delusional fear of him. Gostigian seems to think that's why what happened, but
Probably.
here's what we know.
So John du Pont.
January-
Okay, so hold on. Can I do another?
Yeah.
Again, there's so many things happening in this story.
Yeah, give a little Summer Rosie.
So John du Pont, born Tom Riddle, horse, nuts removed. Natural History Museum started wrestling, became into wrestling, started a wrestling farm for beefcakes to come and train.
Yep.
Okay. Started seeing Disney characters, became KKK, kicked out anyone who was black, held a gun to someone, and is now seeing stuff come out of the walls.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. A standard life path
Is the accidents
for the average American.
Are any of these linked? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, he sounds like he's a goddamn cuckoo.
Right, but all the things that happen in his childhood are like very bad. But
I mean, they're bad, but like it's not the same kind of bad that like we see with the murderers of years past.
Right. So like, how did he go?
It's not like he got smacked in the head. He just had. I don't know.
I think it's more than.
Although I don't know what the like. I don't know if losing your testicles at a young age is going to mess with your chemistry in some way. I don't.
I had some
know.
pretty bad tummy aches, and I'm not seeing stuff.
Oh, I thought you meant like after you lost your.
No. Just saying. I just
been
had
through
some really bad
tummy
stuff too. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Scones has had a tough time.
It was a joke, but then you went silent, so that it sounded like I was
I was
legitimately
very
saying
confused.
That.
I was like, wait, what?
No, my childhood was pretty sick.
So, January 26, 1996, 2 p.m., John du Pont grabs a .44 Magnum and orders his security consultant Patrick Goodale drive him down to Dave Schultz's house. Dave's last words were, "Hi, boss," with a smile and a friendly wave. Du Pont answered him with a gun pointed at his head. He screamed, "You got a problem with me?" and opened fire, shooting Schultz dead on the spot.
Well, first of all, that is
Goodale's
horrifying. And second of all,
yeah.
What time did you say it was?
2 p.m.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought you said 2 a.m. and I was like, I would never be like, "Hey, boss." If my boss showed up at my house at
that'd
2
be
a.m.
like, "Hey, I am off the clock, homie."
I'd be like, "Sir, I know you're my boss, but I am going to call the cops soon."
Yeah. So Goodale's first instinct was to leap out of the car and check on Dave. Then he pulled a small pistol out from his holster hidden in his ankle and pulled it on Du Pont. Du Pont, though, just drove away and sealed himself up in his mansion where no one could touch him. When 911 operator asked why Du Pont had done it, Dave's wife, Nancy, simply replied, "Because he's insane." So,
yeah,
there you go.
As an official spin zone person, I can't really put it as any other way.
Yeah. So for 2 days, 70 police officers and a whole team of SWAT members laid siege on John du Pont's home.
Oh shit! This
They
is
tried
like
everything they.
I didn't know it was like Waco, Texas level. Like
Yeah. They tried everything they could that might get a rational man out of his home, but in the end, all they had to do was turn off the heat.
they were like, "We got
as
pizza
soon as he got too
out
chilly.
here."
We've tried everything, sir. He didn't go for the pizza.
Ooh, a fresh cup of coffee out here, John.
So they turned off the heat, and as soon as it got too chilly, John du Pont turned himself in. Fucking classic. So
I didn't know that part of the story. Wait,
yeah, cold as OP, dude.
They tried everything to get him out, and all they had to do was change the thermostat.
Yeah, well, you know how adult men get.
True. My dad.
They're like, somebody touched it, and he came walking out, and they grabbed him.
Do you have any idea what that does to the electric bill? And then they got him.
So, the victims got justice, but at the terrible cost of ensuing publicity. DuPont's lawyer tried to blame the whole thing on Patrick Goodale. She accused him of milking DuPont for his money and feeding his paranoid schizophrenia until he turned into a killer, dragging his name through the mud while the world watched from their living rooms. Dave's brother Mark went through his own personal anguish when the movie Foxcatcher hit theaters. In the film, it's heavily implied that he and his brother's killer had a homosexual relationship, and when Dave saw the final cut of the film, he exploded on Twitter, writing to the director, "You think I'm going to sit back and watch you destroy my brother's name and the reputation I sweat and bled for? You ain't seen nothing yet, dude."
Wait. So he's insinuating that they just added that into the movie? That's a wild thing to add.
Yeah, that would be...
For people that are very much still alive and still affected by this traumatic event.
Yeah.
Insane thing to do if that's not true.
Yeah. So in time, Mark Schultz calmed down, but the damage was done. By then, the Washington Times had already written an article that said DuPont and Mark Schultz were rumored to be lovers, taking their story entirely from the film version, and Mark feared that he had forever been cemented in the public's mind as the lover of the man who killed his brother, Dave Schultz.
Whoa.
But the jury at least saw John DuPont for who he was. They rejected his plea of innocence by reason of insanity and sentenced him to prison.
Oh, shit.
He died in 2010 at the age of 72 behind bars.
I mean, I guess I'm glad he got punished for something he very clearly did. But it's wild to me that a man like this could not get insanity because he is very much insane.
Yeah.
We've talked about less crazy people doing worse things on this podcast that have gotten the insanity plea.
Yes, I agree. So I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy story.
Absolutely insane.
But YouTube was like, "Hey, you want to watch the part where he shoots Dave?" And I was like, "I guess."
I haven't seen the full movie yet, but now I feel weird watching it if they weren't lovers, and that's just like a weird.
Yeah, and they just like, I don't know why they're. I don't know.
Not that it would be a huge deal, but that's
idea.
a weird way to paint a victim.
Yes.
Like, if that's not true.
Yeah, that I do not know.
Dude, one of the doors in my apartment just slammed shut, and I don't know what's happening.
Oh? It's the ghost of John du Pont?
I gotta go look.
Uh-oh. Last podcast episode.
Entertain them, Darce. I might never be back.
Hey, listeners. Just heads up. Scones is off to find out who's opening his door. In the meantime, check out Monday Morning Macabre on our socials, Macabre Pod on Twitter, Monday Morning Macabre on Instagram, and MondayMorningMacabre.com for episodes and Patreon and merch and all that jazz.
All right, I'm guessing it was just the wind because the dog's fine, and if the dog's not freaking out, then I don't think I have anything to freak out.
If the dog's fine.
Dog's fine.
So I informed everybody about our socials.
Oh, excellent.
And,
check them out.
So Scones is alive, and I hope you guys...
And if you're listening to this, Halloween Spooktacular coming up. Vote your top 5 favorite episodes from season 4. So basically from any episode after last Halloween. And let us know. Give us votes, message us, DM us any way you know how. We'll compile them, and we'll do a top 5 Spooktacular.
Yes. And besides that, I hope you guys have a great little week, and I love you so much. Bye. Bye.